The Lord said to Aaron, "Go into the wilderness to meet Moses." So he went and met him on the mountain of God and kissed him. And Moses told Aaron all the words of the Lord who had sent him, and all the signs which he had commanded him. Then Moses and Aaron went and gathered together all the elders of the children of Israel. And Aaron spoke all the words which the Lord had spoken to Moses. Then he did the signs in the sight of the people. So the people believed. And when they heard that the Lord had visited the children of Israel, and that he had looked on their affliction, then they bowed their heads and worshipped. After that Moses and Aaron went in and told Pharaoh, "Thus says the Lord God of Israel, Let my people go, that they may hold a feast to me in the wilderness." And Pharaoh said, "Who is the Lord, that I should obey his voice to let Israel go? I do not know the Lord, nor will I let Israel go." So they said, "The God of the Hebrews has met with us. Please let us go 3 days' journey into the desert and sacrifice to the Lord our God, lest he fall upon us with pestilence or with the sword." Then the king of Egypt said to them, "Moses and Aaron, why do you take the people from their work? Get back to your labor." And Pharaoh said, "Look, the people of the land are many now, and you make them rest from their labor." So the same day Pharaoh commanded the taskmasters of the people and their officers, saying, "You shall no longer give the people straw to make brick as before. Let them go and gather straw for themselves, and you shall lay on them the quota of bricks which they had made before. You shall not reduce it, for they are idle. Therefore they cry out, saying, Let us go and sacrifice to our God. Let more work be laid on the men, that they may labor in it, and let them not regard false words." And the taskmasters of the people and their officers went out and spoke to the people, saying, "Thus says Pharaoh, I will not give you straw. Go, get yourselves straw where you can find it, yet none of your work will be reduced." So the people were scattered abroad throughout all the land of Egypt to gather stubble instead of straw. And the taskmasters forced them to hurry, saying, "Fulfill your work, your daily quota, as when there was straw." Also the officers of the children of Israel, whom Pharaoh's taskmasters had set over them, were beaten, and were asked, "Why have you not fulfilled your task in making bricks both yesterday and today, as before?" Then the officers of the children of Israel came and cried out to Pharaoh, saying, "Why are you dealing thus with your servants? There is no straw given to your servants, and they say to us, 'Make brick.' And indeed your servants are beaten, but the fault is in your own people." But he said, "You are idle, idle. Therefore you say, 'Let us go and sacrifice to the Lord.' Therefore go now and work, for no straw shall be given you, yet you shall deliver the quota of bricks." And the officers of the children of Israel saw that they were in trouble after it was said, "You shall not reduce any bricks from your daily quota." Then as they came out from Pharaoh, they met Moses and Aaron, who stood there to meet them. And they said to them, "Let the Lord look on you and judge, because you have made us abhorrent in the sight of Pharaoh and in the sight of his servants, to put a sword in their hand to kill us." So Moses returned to the Lord and said, "Lord, why have you brought trouble on this people? Why is it that you have sent me? For since I came to Pharaoh to speak in your name, he has done evil to this people, and neither have you delivered your people at all." My name's Arthur. I thank you for joining me as we share together from Exodus chapter 5 and see the first round of the confrontation between the God of Israel and Pharaoh, and as Pharaoh affirms the direction in which he is going and the disappointment that Moses has. This task is not going to be easy. It's a simple request. God says, "Pharaoh, let my people go." So God is saying, these are my people. They are the people who worship me, and I want them to hold a feast for me in the wilderness. He's just asking for 1 week off. They hadn't had a week off for 100 years. But Pharaoh says, "I don't know the Lord. I don't know your God. and I'm not going to let Israel go. So he has no respect for the children of Israel. Indeed, because they have not acknowledged him as God, he knows that they hold another God, the God of Israel, but he is not going to acknowledge the God of Israel because he doesn't realize the God of Israel is not just a God like him, but is the creator of the whole earth. Moses and Aaron plead with him, saying, the God of the Hebrews has met with us. They've had a very clear experience of God, but Pharaoh is yet to have his encounter with God. Please let us go 3 days' journey into the desert and sacrifice to the Lord our God. Moses and Aaron are asking nicely. They're not bullying. They haven't rounded up an army of people from another place to come and deliver. They have come directly to make a reasonable request that they might go and worship their God in the wilderness, away from the Egyptians so that they do not offend the Egyptians. They don't want to upset the apple cart, as it were. They just want to acknowledge their God in the way that their God has asked them to. And their God is the living God. But Pharaoh's response is, this is just an excuse to get out of work. You are labourers, you've got to get back to your work. Get back to work. You're distracting the people from their work. Let them get back to their work. And so his response to Moses and Aaron is to command his managers over the Israelites that they make life difficult for the Israelites. They take away the straw, but still require that they complete the quota. And when the Israelites can't complete the quota, it's not through lack of effort, it's because the task is so much harder, because they now have to go and find the straw before they can make the bricks. And so the taskmasters fulfill Pharaoh's command and start beating the leaders among the Israelites. For you have work teams, and the head of the work teams are Israelites, who are supervised by the Egyptians. The Israelite leaders of the work teams are in trouble, and they think this has just come from the taskmasters, so they complain to Pharaoh and say, we can't do this. We're getting beaten because we can't do it, but the problem isn't our problem. We're working as hard as we can. The issue is your people, your taskmasters, who are being unreasonable to us, demanding that we do something that's not possible to do. We can't complete our quota, and it doesn't help to beat us up. That just makes it less possible for us to do what we're trying to do for you. But Pharaoh affirms his directions to the taskmasters. He doesn't recognize at all the rights of the children of Israel to time off, to worship God, to be given support in their work, and just yells at them, you're idle, you're idle. You're saying, let's go and sacrifice to the Lord. No, get back to your work. Complete your quota of work, your quota of bricks. The leaders of the people, the officers of the children of Israel, realize that they're in trouble. There's nowhere for them to go. They have appealed to Pharaoh. There's no higher authority. And Pharaoh has said, you shall not reduce any bricks from your daily quota. So their situation is worse, not better. And as they come out from their meeting with Pharaoh, they meet Moses and Aaron. And what can they say? It's all backfired. It's all gone pear-shaped. Instead of them being delivered out of Egypt, now they are being persecuted even more than before. And so the leaders blame Aaron and Moses. And what can they do? They can only go back to God. Moses returned to the Lord and said, Lord, why have you brought trouble on this people? Why have you sent me? For since I came to Pharaoh to speak in your name, he has done evil to this people. Neither have you delivered your people at all.